Someone may ask, will my dua make a difference? I'm a sinner, I've committed this sin and that sin. I'm, for example, far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Will my dua make a difference? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى اللهم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Shaykh Saduq narrates in his book Kamaluddin from Sahib al-Asri wal-Zaman Ajillahu ta'ala farajuh al-Sharif that the Imam has said, increase in your supplication and dua for my reappearance, for within this is your salvation. One of the topics and discussions that the ulama of Mahdawiya have is in regards to the benefits that the human being, the mu'min, gains when doing dua for the reappearance of Sahib al-Asr. For many benefits reverted back to the da'i and the person supplicating himself, which is why the Imam says within this dua is your own salvation. Ayatollah Mujtahidi Tahrani rahmatullah alayhi says that once I was praying Salatul Jama'ah behind Ayatollah al-Shaheed Asadullah Madini al-Tabrizi, and I saw him sitting on his prayer mat weeping profusely, tears rolling down his cheek, and I saw him shaking in a state of complete sadness as if he was in shock. So I went up to the Sayyid very slowly and I said to him, has something happened to you? Is it something that we can help you with, or I can also be a partner in this sadness? For you're crying like this, I've never seen you like this before. So Ayatollah Asadullah Shaheed Asadullah Madini al-Tabrizi said, for one lahza, for one moment, after finishing this salah, I saw Sahib al-Asri wal-Zaman salamullah alayhi in this same haram of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And he said to me, look at these people. Look at the people that say they believe in me and that I am the Imam. As soon as the salah finished, they got up and left and carried on with their worldly affairs. How many of them stopped after their salah to do dua for my reappearance? And so Ayatollah Asadullah Madini was crying to such an extent that how is it that we forget to do dua for the faraj and the reappearance of Sahib al-Asr? There are, as I said, many fawaid and benefits that the ulama mention. I wish to mention a few of them that we can gain, as the Imam says, within this is your salvation. Benefits that we get ourselves from doing this dua. The first that the ulama mention is that dua, when it comes when there's ma'rifah. When I'm told to do constant dua for Sahib al-Asr, this pushes me towards also trying to gain his ma'rifah and cognizance and recognition. Secondly, the riwayat say that on one occasion Ahmad ibn Ishaq al-Ash'ari, who was one of the representatives of Imam al-Askari salamullah alayhi, he enters into the house of the Imam and he asks the Imam salamullah alayhi about the successor after him. Who will be your successor? And so the Imam says that rain doesn't fall onto this earth except for due to the hujjah of Allah. Allah's bounties fall onto the people of the earth because of the hujjah. And it has never been except that Allah's hujjah will be on this earth. Then the Imam shows Ahmad ibn Ishaq, the 12th Imam, who was at that time a child. And the Imam says, know that my son, who is the hujjah after me, will go into a ghaibah, will go into an occultation. And people will only be saved from the fitna and the difficulties and the trials during that occultation if they perform dua for his reappearance. So the first benefit was I'm forced to gain ma'rifah. When I'm told to do dua constantly, I'm forced to do ma'rifah. Secondly, the more dua I do, the Imam says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saves you from the imtihan and the tests and the trials of this ghaibah. Thirdly, when I have the habit of constantly doing dua, this forces me to remember him. When after every salah, for example, or salatul fajr, or whatever it may be, I remember Sahib al-Asri wal-Zaman and I do dua for ta'jeel farajihi, this forces me to remember him, to think about him, to think about pleasing him in the actions that I perform in that day. And finally, someone may ask, will my dua make a difference? I'm a sinner, I've committed this sin and that sin. I'm, for example, far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Will my dua make a difference? There's also one key benefit of doing dua for Sahib al-Asr. And that can be explained from when Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam is being sold as a slave in Egypt. People came and said, I'll give, for example, 30 golden coins to buy this slave. He was a very young, beautiful person. I'll pay this amount of money. He's got strength, 30. Another person comes and says, I'll bid 40 golden coins. A third comes and says 100. And as they are auctioning, an elderly man comes with a yarn of wool or thread. And he says, this is what I am willing to pay for this slave, for this person. So they looked at him and said, compared to these golden coins that he's being offered, that the master of the slave is being offered, of course they're never going to take this, what you have put in front, this piece of thread. So why would you even bother? He says, no, you haven't understood. This is all I have. But I wish to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I gave whatever I had to try and buy his Prophet of God, i.e. to set him then free. Whatever I had, I know that I could never compete in front of the golden coins that these people were giving, but I gave whatever I have to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala I was of those that yearned for Yusuf. Likewise, it may be that I am the one who commits sin. It may be that I, unfortunately, am not as close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as possible. But by doing dua for his reappearance, I show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I gave whatever my heart had with dua in order to try and bring him and his dhuhur closer. And therefore, as part of this campaign of Active Intidhaar, that the brothers and sisters that are part of this campaign have different practical things to do. One practical thing that we can try to do is to keep this habit for at least 40 days, of every day at least once, having some sort of supplication for Sahib al-Asr wal Zaman, because within that is our own salvation.